What if I told you that navigating literally the most expensive country on Earth, a place where, I mean, a 20-minute cable car ride can cost more than your international flight?
Which is terrifying.
Right. But what if I told you that it actually becomes incredibly cheap if you just download the right app and, like, buy the right trash bag?
It sounds completely counterintuitive. I mean, you look at the financial landscape of Switzerland for this deep dive, and it's genuinely terrifying for the average traveler.
Oh, absolutely.
But when we poured over this massive stack of 2026 travel guides and local Reddit threads and even official Swiss customs data, a very clear pattern emerged. You can absolutely spend 2 weeks in the Alps without, going bankrupt.
And just for some quick context for you as we dive into this, right now, a single Swiss franc, or CHF, is hovering right around parity with the US dollar.
Right, it's basically 1-to-1.
Yeah, so when we mentioned that a basic plate of food at a mountain restaurant costs 40 francs, just think 40 bucks, it makes that sticker shock very, very real.
It is very real, but saving money there isn't about starving yourself or sleeping in some miserable windowless room.
Thankfully.
Yeah, right. It requires a complete mindset shift, though. Our mission today is to design a budget-friendly 2-week Swiss vacation for you by totally discarding that package tourist mentality.
You really have to fully adopt the daily, highly structured habits of the locals.
Exactly.
And I really want to focus on that idea of adopting local habits, because reading through these arrival guides, tourists are just hemorrhaging cash before they even leave the airport.
Oh, especially in Geneva.
Right.
Geneva is basically the perfect example of the tourist tax of ignorance. There is a machine right in the luggage retrieval area that literally prints a free public transport ticket for the city.
Free. Totally free.
Completely free. And tourists march right past it, dragging their bags, and immediately drop 40 francs on a cab ride to their hotel.
That is brutal. But I think the most surprising upfront hack in these sources was this Quicksol app.
Oh, yeah, Quicksol.
Because I didn't even know what this was. I mean, why on earth does a budget traveler care about customs clearance? I'm not, importing diamonds. I just want to hike.
Well, you might as well be importing diamonds given the price of Swiss groceries.
Fair point.
You have to remember, Switzerland is not in the EU customs zone. It is essentially an expensive island surrounded by countries with vastly cheaper food.
Right, like France and Germany.
Exactly. So a massive local hack for anyone living near the border is crossing over to buy supplies, especially things like alcohol and meats.
Ah, okay.
But if you bring in too much, the border guards will hit you with severe taxes.
So if I'm flying in or taking a train in from Paris and I try to bring a bunch of cheap wine and snacks to avoid Swiss supermarket prices.
You could get caught. And that's where Quicksol comes in. It's the official Swiss app to digitally declare those goods.
Oh, so it just does the math for you.
Yeah, it calculates your exact duty-free allowance, preventing your cheap grocery run from becoming a massive, unexpected fine at the border. You really have to play by their extremely specific rules.
And that Swiss obsession with rules and, I guess, fairness, it really spills over into how they treat service workers, too.
Definitely.
Which brings up a huge culture clash. There's this Swiss magazine piece in our sources that practically begs American visitors to stop leaving 20% tips at restaurants.
Right, and that cultural friction happens because labor is just valued differently over there.
Yeah, since 1974, a service charge is legally required to be included in restaurant and cafe prices.
Exactly. The staff are paid a proper living wage. So dropping a massive tip isn't seen as generous. It actually disrupts a very deliberate social contract.
See, I struggle with this, though, because if I sit down, have a phenomenal meal, and the waiter is incredibly helpful, leaving absolute zero just feels completely wrong,
I get that.
Does the transaction really just end with me handing them my credit card and walking away?
Well, you don't have to leave absolute zero. You just round up.
Okay.
So if your morning coffee and pastry is, say, 4.80, you leave 5 francs. A 47 franc dinner becomes 50.
So it's just a modest gesture of thanks.
Right. It's not a salary supplement. And while credit cards are standard everywhere now, the sources highly recommend carrying physical francs for those small roundups.
Or for handing a coin to hotel housekeeping, right?
Exactly. Cash just ensures the gesture goes straight to the individual.
And you probably want to keep a pen handy in your pocket because apparently their chip and pin system is slightly different.
Oh, right, the signature thing.
Yeah, American credit cards often trigger a physical signature requirement, which catches cashiers off guard and holds up the line.
And you really want to minimize that kind of friction wherever possible. And part of minimizing friction is also how you take up space in public.
You mean the volume control?
Yes, the volume
Yeah.
control. Americans project their voices. We just do.
We really do.
But Swiss public spaces, especially the trains, demand a hushed tone. Blending in financially really does start with blending in socially.
And geographically, the language changes depending on where the train actually takes you.
Right, it's incredibly diverse.
You're saying merci in the western French-speaking parts, danke in the central German regions, and grazie down in the Italian south.
Just learning those basics goes a long way.
It does. But what really struck me about this friction of blending in is their trash system.
Oh boy.
I mean, it is aggressively, strictly regulated.
Waste in Switzerland is monetized. It's treated as a profound civic responsibility.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah, so if you're staying in a vacation rental or an Airbnb to save money, you can't just toss your trash into some black plastic bag under the sink.
Right. Household garbage has to go into specific, officially taxed bags.
And they cost roughly 2 francs each.
$2 for one trash bag. That feels like a scam, to be honest. It just feels like a way to squeeze extra money out of people who are already paying high rent.
It might feel that way, but it's actually a highly effective environmental policy. By financially penalizing non-recyclable waste, the government kind of forces you to change your habits.
Because nobody wants to buy a $2 trash bag every day.
Exactly. To avoid buying those expensive taxed bags, you naturally start separating your glass, your paper, and your plastic,
And then you have to physically walk them down to the communal recycling bins.
which are usually located under the local train stations. Yeah, it just makes you hyper-aware of what you're consuming.
Well, and that hyper-awareness naturally bleeds into the single biggest budget killer of any trip, which is food.
Oh, absolutely.
If you eat out for every meal in Switzerland, your budget is completely dead on arrival.
100%.
The sources are adamant that the only way to survive a 2-week trip is to embrace the Swiss supermarket duopoly, which is Coop and Migros.
These two stores are literally the cultural and culinary lifelines of the country. You will find them everywhere.
Like even in tiny towns.
From major city centers to tiny, remote alpine villages.
I was trying to wrap my head around them. And Migros feels like an ultra-healthy, alcohol-free Trader Joe's.
That's a great comparison.
But why no alcohol? That seems like a massive missed revenue stream for a major grocery chain.
It actually goes back to its founding in 1925. This guy, Gottlieb Duttweiler, started Migros on strict public health and family principles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he believed cheap alcohol and tobacco were societal blights, so to this day, Migros refuses to sell them.
Which forces you to literally cross the street to Coop if you want a bottle of local wine.
Pretty much.
And apparently you do want that because the Swiss consume almost all of their own wine domestically, so it's incredibly hard to find anywhere else in the world.
That's very true. You have to try it while you're there, but the real draw for the budget traveler is the deli counters and the hot buffets at both of those chains.
Right, because instead of dropping 40 francs on a basic plate of rosti at a mountain restaurant,
Which is just a potato dish.
right, you're grabbing fresh local bread, Gruyere cheese, and sliced meats for maybe 8 to 12 francs.
And then you take that lunch up a trail and eat it on a wooden bench overlooking an actual glacier.
Which honestly sounds better anyway.
It is vastly superior to a crowded, noisy restaurant patio.
And we can optimize this even further with the tech. The 2026 data highlights 2 specific apps you need for food.
Yes.
First is Too Good to Go. I've used this in the States, but it sounds like it's a fundamental way of life in Switzerland.
It is incredibly prevalent there, and that goes right back to those same strict environmental values we saw with the trash bags.
Right, the anti-waste mentality.
Exactly. There is a massive cultural and regulatory push to eliminate food waste. So bakeries, restaurants, and both Migros and Coop use the app to sell surplus food at the end of the day.
Oh, wow. So you buy a surprise bag for, what, around 5 or 6 francs?
Yeah, and you might get 20 francs worth of fresh sandwiches, pastries, and salads.
That's incredible. And for planned grocery runs, there's the Wrap-In app. But I didn't quite get how a price aggregator actually saves you that much on a daily basis. Like,
Yeah.
aren't milk and eggs generally the same price everywhere?
Well, Rapid is powerful because Swiss supermarkets aggressively discount items nearing their expiration date. They call them the yellow sticker items.
Oh.
They would much rather sell a premium cut of meat for 50% off than throw it away. And Rapinoon tracks these real-time discounts neutrally across all chains.
So before you even leave your rental, you know exactly which store has discounted staples for your dinner.
Precisely.
I do have a slight problem with this, though.
What's that?
If I'm just hunting for yellow sticker discounts and buying surprise bags of leftover bread, am I actually experiencing Swiss cuisine? I mean, I want regional discoveries. I don't want to just eat generic discount food for 2 weeks.
That is a completely fair critique, but you have to realize that eating locally is inherently cheaper if you bypass the middleman.
What do you mean?
You don't need a sit-down restaurant to experience authentic Swiss food.
Huh.
Like buy a pack of serve-a-lot from that supermarket.
That's the national sausage, right?
Exactly. Head out into the countryside, find one of the hundreds of public, government-maintained fire pits, and roast them yourself over an open fire.
Wait, there are just public fire pits everywhere.
Yes, that is how Swiss families actually spend their weekends.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And then you can grab some local cheese from an unstaffed roadside farm stand on the way.
Yes, the honor box system.
You just leave your francs in the little box. I also saw in the sources that you absolutely have to try Rivella,
Oh, Rivella.
which is a soda made from milk whey, right?
It is.
Which sounds texturally challenging to an American palate, honestly. But locals are obsessed with it.
They really are.
And Ovomaltine, their classic chocolate malt drink.
Both are essential. Just remember to never pay for plain water while you're trying all these drinks.
Right, because of the fountains.
Exactly. The tap water and the water flowing from the thousands of public fountains in literally every village is pristine alpine runoff.
It's essentially free luxury water.
Totally. Bring a reusable bottle and just never buy a plastic one.
Okay, so we're fed, we're hydrated for free, our trash is meticulously sorted.
Naturally.
Now we have to actually move around this country. The Swiss transit system is legendary, but the pricing is brutal.
The infrastructure is a modern marvel, really. But you cannot approach it blindly. Your very first step is downloading the SBB mobile app.
SPB.
Right. It is the command center for every train, bus, and boat in the country.
I loved the analogy I read about this in one of the guides. The SBB network isn't just a schedule. It's a perfectly synced circulatory system.
That is so accurate.
Like the major intercity trains are the arteries, and the local post buses and mountain funiculars are the capillaries.
Yep.
And they time the connections to the exact minute so you aren't standing around for an hour waiting for a bus in the freezing cold.
The efficiency is staggering. But the SBB app is really just the interface. The critical financial decision you have to make before you arrive is which pass you link to that app.
Right.
The entire budget travel community is violently divided between two options.
The Swiss Travel Pass and the half-fare card.
Exactly. I'm going to stop you there, though, because looking at this as a first-timer, the Swiss Travel Pass seems like the obvious stress-free choice.
It does seem that way.
I mean, you pay one flat fee up front, you get unlimited travel for 14 days, and you get into 500 museums for free. Why would I overcomplicate my vacation with anything else?
Because convenience always comes with a premium.
Okay.
If your itinerary involves aggressive daily travel between major cities like Zurich, Geneva, and Bern, and you are hitting 3 museums a day, the Swiss Travel Pass absolutely wins.
Right. If you're just constantly moving.
But if you are trying to actually experience the landscape, the math breaks down quickly.
I need you to prove that to me. Because paying 150 francs up front for the half-fare card just for the privilege of paying more money for individual tickets feels like a trap.
I know it feels like a trap.
Yeah.
Let's run a concrete mathematical example.
Let's do it.
Let's say you want to go up the Jungfraujoch. It's a massively popular, high-altitude mountain railway.
Right. Top of Europe.
Exactly. That ticket alone can cost around 240 francs round trip. Ouch.
Now, the unlimited Swiss Travel Pass only gives you a 25% discount on that specific mountain route.
Wait, really? It's not fully covered?
Nope. So that brings it down to 180 francs. But the half-fare card gives you a full 50% off everything, bringing it down to 120 francs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you just saved 60 francs on a single excursion, which almost pays for half the cost of the card itself in one afternoon.
So because the half-fare card aggressively discounts those hyper-expensive mountain cable cars, it mathematically destroys the unlimited pass on a nature-heavy trip.
Precisely. You pay as you go, but you're paying significantly less for the absolute most expensive parts of the country.
That makes so much sense. Plus, the sources point out you can stack that half-fare card with Super Saver tickets right inside the SBB app.
Oh, the Super Savers are great.
Yeah, if you look at a route and see it marked with a percentage sign, you can save up to 70% on top of your half-fare discount.
The only catch there is that Super Savers lock you into a specific off-peak train time. You can't just hop on any train you want.
I mean, I'll gladly travel at 10 a.m. instead of the 8 a.m. commuter rush if it saves me $40 a ticket, you know.
Most people would.
And since we're talking about saving money on activities, I definitely want to highlight the Lidos.
Yes, the Lidos are fantastic.
Because instead of booking a 100 franc spa day to swim, you find these public lakeside beach clubs.
For maybe 3 or 4 francs, you get clean bathrooms, cafes, and diving boards right into these stunningly clear alpine lakes.
It's cold water, though.
It is very cold water, but it's arguably the most authentic way to spend a Swiss summer afternoon.
Okay, so the pieces are all on the board now. Let's actually build this 14-day route for 2026.
Let's do it.
A budget-friendly itinerary that hits the mountains but dodges the worst of the tourist traps. So for days 1 through 7, we need a base camp.
And you do not want that base camp to be in the Bernese Oberland or near Zermatt, where hotel prices are just astronomical.
So where are we going?
We are starting in the Valais region in the southwest.
Valais is fascinating because it's cheaper, but the geography is just as dramatic.
Exactly. You base yourself near a town like Sion.
With those 2 massive medieval fortresses.
Yes, the Château de Tourbillon and Château de Valais. They're literally sitting on opposing hills right in the middle of the city.
That sounds incredible.
And Valais gives you access to lower-profile, wilder excursions. Instead of the crowded Matterhorn trails, you take a day trip to the Jura region to see the Étang de la Guerre.
The Étang de la Guerre. What is that?
It's this tranquil, marshy moorland lake surrounded by pristine pine forests. It feels completely isolated.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Or you could explore the Brienz Valley nearby.
Yes, Brienz is amazing.
It's this massive, wild, rock-strewn landscape formed by a historical landslide. Most international tourists don't even know it exists.
Exactly. You get the dramatic views without the crowds.
So that's the first week. Now, for days 8 through 10, we do have to transit through the famous Interlaken region.
We do.
But I'm looking at our Reddit sources, and they explicitly say Interlaken is a concrete hub jammed with tour buses and watch shops.
It definitely can be.
So why are we stopping there?
Well, you're passing through the hub, but you aren't sleeping there. The strategy is to book lodging in a peripheral village like Bonigen.
Bonigen, right on the shores of Lake Brienz.
Exactly. You're maybe 5 minutes away from the major train connections by local bus, but you're paying a fraction of the price and waking up to absolute silence.
That proximity hack is huge. And while you're in that region, you have to hit the Oceanensee.
Oh, absolutely.
It's that iconic, bright turquoise alpine lake surrounded by sheer cliffs you see on literally every travel blog. But there's a budget hack here too, right?
There is. The classic tourist move is to pay 30 francs for the round-trip cable car.
And the budget move.
The budget move is to hike the trail up yourself. It takes physical effort, but you save the cash and you eat your Kubal deli lunch at the top with a massive sense of accomplishment.
That sounds perfect. All right, let's bring it home. Days 11 through 14, we finish in central Switzerland in the Lucerne region.
A beautiful area.
But everybody who goes to Lucerne gets funneled up Mount Pilatus, which is an incredible cogwheel train ride, but painfully expensive, even with a discount pass.
Very expensive. But if you want panoramic alpine views without the Pilatus price tag, you pivot to the Hammerschwand lift.
Which is an elevator.
It's the highest outdoor elevator in Europe, built directly onto the side of a sheer cliff overlooking Lake Lucerne.
That sounds terrifying, but awesome.
It's visually staggering and costs significantly less.
And I have to throw in my absolute favorite oddity from the research for this final stretch. If you have a free day near Zurich, you have to go find the Bachtelspalt.
Oh, the Bachtelspalt is such a brilliant recommendation.
Right. It's an ancient geological rift valley. Basically, you have a massive, deep crack in the earth.
Yeah.
You just hike through a normal-looking forest, and suddenly you're squeezing sideways between these towering, incredibly narrow rock walls.
It's completely off the radar. It's a surreal little adventure. And best of all, it's totally free.
It perfectly captures the essence of this entire itinerary. You're experiencing the deep, ancient landscape of the country without passing through a toll gate.
Exactly.
So if we look back at our mission for this deep dive, navigating Switzerland in 2026 without destroying your savings account isn't just a fantasy.
No, it is totally doable.
By leveraging apps like Quicksol and Rapin, mastering the brutal math of the half-fare card, eating servelat by a free Lido, and prioritizing hidden gems like Valet and the Bochtelspalt, you are fully equipped for a spectacular trip.
You absolutely are. But, there's one final angle to this that didn't explicitly show up in the budget breakdowns, and it's something you should seriously consider as you plan.
What's that?
Well, we've designed this itinerary for 2026, but look at the long-term trends affecting the Alps right now.
Right, the environmental stuff.
Yeah, as climate change continues to rapidly diminish the snowpack and alter the high-altitude environments, these lower elevation, off-the-beaten-path locations we discuss.
Like the shaded moorlands of the Jura region.
Right, or the deep rift of the Bachtelspalt. They might not just remain your best budget alternatives.
You think they'll become the main attractions?
In 10 or 15 years, they might actually become the most reliable, sustainable ways to experience the Swiss wilderness at all.
Wow.
Just something to keep in mind as you book those flights.